Well, obviously, going into Big Ten play in December kind of changes your focus. Uh, I I'm not a big cliche guy, but you really get lasered in on a league opponent like Indiana, and in some ways, it makes it a little bit easier to prepare your team. So when you start looking at Indiana, and this is Howard Isley's scout, when you start looking at Indiana, you already have a sense of how Mike Woodson prepares his team. So we know the you're not surprised at his power around the basket. Xavier Johnson, hopefully he's healthy and gets an opportunity to play, which is what you wish for everybody. Galloway seems like he's been around longer than Assembly Hall at Indiana. So you have an idea of who they are. You have an idea of style of play. You get your juices flowing to say, well, what changes are they making? And in Indiana's case, with a 7-footer like Ware, the interior passing jumps out at you. Their unbelievable commitment defensively. And then, just being like a smart ass in a way, you keep looking for Trey Jackson Davis, like, because he played every game against us for 4 years. So they are playing very close games. The only game where they've gotten blitzed was UConn in the Garden. Just they annihilated. The score with Florida on Friday night with Maryland does not indicate the difference in that game. They were awesome as a home team on Friday. So this opportunity after a quality non-conference, a quality road game, a quality in terms of what was expected and what was needed. That was a great lead up to this opportunity. The 9 o'clock start is different. Being at home is different. Being with Jaelin Llewellyn is different. But the approach and yesterday's practice indicates to me that the players are ready for conference play.
Thank you so much, Coach. We'll open it up for questions. Again, it's just an open forum for everybody.
Yeah. Hey, Phil, does that mean Jaelin will play tomorrow? Is that the expectation?
Well, he played, I don't know, 8 minutes on Saturday. There was no holding back yesterday. It was not a heavy practice yesterday, but he was fully engaged. So there are no indications that he would not at least continue. And I'm not saying minute restrictions. Like we just don't deal with that kind of term. He was available yesterday for practice. Obviously, he played Saturday. So the full expectation is he will play Tuesday.
Hey, Phil, what do you see Jaelin's role being going forward this season?
First of all, a great example, a great tribute to Chris Williams, to the doctors, to Jaelin, because the players watched. We might be on one court, but the players knew on the other court, Jaelin was working and working and working to get to this moment. Does that mean a double-digit score? No, that's not an expectation. Does it mean a calming voice? Yes. Does it mean like that grit and determination that you want from every player? Yes. We have mixed him in with Doug. So if somebody says, well, is that playing two guards? It's two guards. It's two players being on the floor. So what we really want for Jaelin is for his play to reward all the sacrifices and the hard work that he has put in since last December when he got hurt. So I would say older, calmer, and maybe a player who brings even more appreciation to the opportunities presented. Because sometimes when you're young, you just think, well, I have another 90 games or I have another practice next week. And Jaelin is a shining example of that could be gone in the snap of a finger.
Phil, what do you make of the defense? I guess so far, obviously you're 4-4, and the defensive statistics, at least the general ones, are not great so far.
I think we're 4-4. I think the defense is not great, and I think everybody has to amp it up. We have to amp up our ball pressure. We have to give them even more scouting report help. We actually had a conversation yesterday, Sadi and I, and one of the things was not so much the breakdown of the one-on-one challenges, which we attempted to address all preseason by playing one-on-one every single day in practice. But we're stopping short. We're not closing out. And, we have a lot of principles, not a lot, but we have foundations in this program. One of them is trust. And our closeouts are a little bit indicative that I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure that I can get there. I'm just not sure that somebody has my back. And I think in players' minds sometimes, well, the jumper, there's a chance he could miss, but the layup or the dunk, that's really going to expose me. So it's the term that we use is daily vitamins. We have to keep the daily vitamins going every single day. It starts with keeping the ball in front of us and stop getting cracks in our defense. On top of our transition defense, which has gotten better, but still, we need stops to create more offense.
Coach, can you talk about the hot start that Will Cheddar's off to? He's 10 for 13 shooting threes off the bench. Has played a really key role for you guys. What have you seen from him positive wise in these first?
Well, as I've said before, come to practice and you hear Will's voice. Go in early, you see Will working. So to see this paying off, now he's a lot like our team. What happens when you get knocked off balance? What happens when the ball doesn't go in? Can he make the next play? He has always been a great practice shooter. Great, not good, great practice shooter. All of our shooting drills, all of our shooting numbers. Last year, when he got a little bit of a dose of starting, it was a big stage. And to see him play calmer and to see the trust that his teammates have in him is a really good sign. That three he hit on the left wing against Oregon to tie the game, I think, at 81, he wouldn't have taken that shot last year, or he would have rushed it. Because he is slowing down, he's playing better. And I think there's even more opportunities. I thought he passed up 2 opportunities in the Oregon game to shoot the ball. He has the staff's ultimate confidence to raise up. Now, we want him to play with less fouls and also to become even a more engaged rebounder.
Hey, Phil, going back to the defense, I have a couple questions about that. I guess just a month into the season, I guess what defensive numbers maybe jump out to you the most or maybe the most concerning?
Three-point shooting percentage and transition points allowed. Those are the 2 that jump to me. And we do it every day. We do transition every single day, and we have done it every single day since July 1. It involves more communication, and then more communication. And on the 3 ball, it starts with keeping the ball in front so that we don't have to trigger help so early. And then when we do close out, we have to close out with confidence that I can get to that guy's shoulder, that I can have a handball contest on a shot. And then if he makes one, forget about it. Go to the next play. But trust the fundamentals that have been taught and trust the information that we have in terms of scouting report and the numeric analysis that we've done.
And I guess when you look at a box score after a game, I guess what numbers are you looking at that will tell you whether the defense played well? I mean, aside from total points, I mean, are there certain marks or totals you guys are trying to keep opponents at or under?
Well, we have benchmarks that are reviewed after the game. Shot challenges are a really big deal to us. Points in the paint are a really big deal to us. Second chance points are a really big deal to us.
Anybody have anything
Hey,
else? Oh,
yeah, sorry, I got one more. Phil, I know earlier prior to the season starting, you said that you guys, I believe, were going through all the late game close situations.
Yep.
I know, obviously, another one sort of presented itself really tight the whole way Saturday. It didn't go your way, but were there any encouraging signs, or did you see maybe falling back on old habits, or what did you see in yet another tight loss?
The number one thing that jumped to me, and I'm not pointing a finger, but you're foul shooting, right? At the end of the game, foul shooting. That got us this time. I thought we were calmer in terms of when we came down the floor. Even the possession we were down to, Olivier hit the turnaround jumper. That was a calm possession. At the end of regulation, getting the ball quicker down the floor. We took a timeout one time. They had scored. We took the timeout in the front court. That was something that we had worked about, like not walking the ball up the floor. Does it save 2 seconds? No, but a second, 1.2. And even the last play was something that during one of our situations that we had practiced. We went zone when you don't anticipate zone. And not that I'm a staged veteran, but I am a staged veteran. I grabbed Sadi on the way into the plane on Saturday night because it was Sadi's call. That in situations like that, lose to the jumper, never to the layup. And we had just been beaten on a layup the play before. Namari got beaten in the middle of the floor, and they stepped and got a dunk to put them up 2. So it wasn't the zone. We didn't miss the slide or anything like that. Maybe a little bit more of a challenge and a little bit more attention to that kid was a logo shooter. But I thought our reaction was good, and it was a step forward. Like, go back to the Long Beach. So to me, foul shooting, last minute foul shooting. Long Beach State, a block out on the foul line. Those are not recurring themes, but those are the kind of plays that you have to make in tight games.
Phil, you talked earlier in the year about having balanced scoring, and that might be the approach for you guys. But how valuable is it to have a guy like Doug who can kind of carry the offense at certain points like he did on Saturday?
Be honest with you, it's a catch-22 to me. Like, his performance was spectacular, for sure. But as you go back and watch it, was it that we weren't able to create offense elsewhere, right? Was, like, you're not getting that every single night, but it was spectacular, particularly on the road. It was big buckets. And at the end of the day, I scratched my head. I didn't know that he had taken 21 shots. But our strength is in that for right now, the 7 guys that are getting in can all score the ball. So we have to run offense that equals that kind of balance and not just lean on spectacular play. So we are not game planning, and I don't mean this as a smart ass way, but we're not game planning for him to get 30 against Indiana. Because one thing Indiana can really, really, really do is they really guard the ball. It's a terrific defense that they have. And now he puts himself at the top of everybody's scouting report. So now does he become a distributor? And when he distributes, who confidently picks up that ability to score the ball?
And not just Saturday, but where have you seen Doug improve the most from last year to this year? You talked earlier in the year about Howard Isley really working with him and how much that work is. And we're kind of seeing that pay off. It seems like
his shooting. I think his long range shooting. Last year he was quick to drop his hands and a little bit goofy with his feet, almost stylistic with his feet and his follow through. I think that his shot consistency from the three has been the most impressive thing to me.